Hello dolls and hello gents. Thank you for watching my video. This is a get ready with me voiceover prompt video. I will be showing you all how to do a winter glam, affordable glam at that, at affordable cost. All products are affordable and all products that I use in this video will be in the description bar below. So right now, what we're doing, we're outlining our brows with NYX lip liner. I did use the shade red, and I also used another shade. I believe it was burgundy. But what I'm doing here is just outlining my brows with the red lip liner, and then I'm going to go back over with another lip liner to make those brows pop, honey. So that's what we're doing right now, and we're going to do the other brow the same way we did the left brow. Brows will never be the same. They're always going to be a sister to one another. So you want to get your brows as close to the opposite brow as possible. But if not, it's okay. But you want to make it at least somewhat the same. So what we're doing here is we're finna get ready to spool it out. Spool. And because I love the ombre effect of a brow. Nothing like a ombre brow that makes everything stand out. Because brows is a make it to break it situation, period. So right here, basically what I'm doing is I'm getting my LA Girl Pro Concealers together to clean up those brows. Don't worry, ladies and gents. If your brows is messy, filling them in, it's okay because you can always clean them up with your concealer. That's what the concealer is for. And I believe I used the shade in Coffee and in Fawn. I mixed both of those colors up. I do use concealer that is light shade than my skin tone. Sometimes I use a little darker. It just depends on how my skin is at that moment. But right now I'm just mixing both of the concealers together to give a good highlight to the brow. So that's what I'm doing here, just carving out those brows. And one thing you want to do is you want to take your time carving out those brows and bringing that concealer up. So once you bring that product down, you're just going to keep carving and you're going to get it as clean as possible. And you're going to drag that concealer all the way down. Oh yeah, I'm feeling myself at this point. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to get ready to buff that concealer straight out. And when you buff that concealer straight out, you want to buff it to where it does not crease. So you want to buff it to where it melts straight down into the skin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing to the right brow that I did to the left. And if you see me looking over to the right, it's because I'm actually looking inside of a mirror. So I'm looking at my handheld mirror and then I'm trying to look at the camera, but more focused in showing you one side of the face than the other side. And as I express, I'm just bringing that completely straight down, that concealer. buff, buff, buff. And you want to take your time. Just take your time, do your brows. Because, like I said, brows can be a break it to make it situation. I'm back. Sorry, guys. Now I'm just cleaning up the top of the brow. And if you see my mouth moving, it's because I was talking to my kids. They all over the place. So I'm just going to buff the top out as well. Oh, yeah, honey. Those brows are looking good. The part I start feeling myself. Okay. I see you, girl. Okay. Now I'm just putting concealer. I'm finna get ready to prime my lids. So I'm putting the remaining concealer that was on my hand that I had mixed together to clean up those brows. I'm using the same remaining concealer and packing that onto the lid. And so now I'm going to tight line my brow with highlighting it, those brow bones, to get that brow bone popping. Yes, honey. Okay, so once we done getting those brows, now we're going to get ready to lay down our first transition color. And I went inside of my Morphe, I believe it was the 350 palette. And like I said, I'll leave all the descriptions of the products that I use in the description bar below. So make sure you all check that out. So I'm just popping that transition color inside of that lid. And one thing about eyeshadows, you want to blend until you come up with your desired color and your desired look that you're going for. So I'm just working that transition color on the outer score of the eye to the inner. Out, in, out, in. And you just want to gently go back and forth like a windshield wiper and just blend. So once we're done blending, I'm going back in with the remaining concealer that I had on my hand. I think I only had a little bit, so I'm just taking some of the brown transition color that I use, and I'm cutting the crease. Now, once I have cut my crease, now I'm going back into the palette, my Morphe palette, and pack on my second color onto the cut crease that I had did on both eyes. And I'm just packing that color straight down into it. One thing when you pack down a color, you want to tap off all excess so you will have light fall out, if that makes sense. So you want to be able to pack down the color to where it's pigmented and you can be able to see the color and be able to see the color transition, if that makes sense. So I'm just packing that color down into it. Now I'm going back into the transition color that I used, and I'm bringing that color into the outer skirt, blending into the color that we packed. And like I said, blending is key. So you want to blend, blend, blend. And take your time blending. So once we are done packing on those colors and blending, we're going to go in with some eyeliner, and we're going to do a wing. And typically I like to take my time doing a wing liner, but here I kind of like zoom through it, because when I typically pay attention to the camera, knowing that the camera is on me, I tend to mess up my liner. But luckily this time around I zoomed out, so my attention wasn't focused on the camera. It was focused on me actually putting the liner on. So I was pretty impressed with that, knowing that I did the wing on camera. But when you do a wing liner, you definitely want to take your time and make your line precise as possible. You can always go in and clean the liner up with concealer of your choice to clean up the outside of the liner. The liner I'm using is a matte liner, so it does glide on smoothly, and it does have like a settled matte look to it once it's dry. And so the same thing that we did to the left eye, we're just going over into the right, and we're trying to make a sister line eyeliner the same way as we did the other one. And we're going to get it close as possible. Okay, so once we're done with doing the liner, we're just going to make it a little bit more darker. I don't like to try to be perfect, but I try to make it a look at least perfection, if that makes sense. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the SS concealer that we was using earlier from the brows and that we added on to the lids. We just using the remaining concealer to clean up the eyeliner that we put down onto the eye. And what we're going to do here is just buff it out. So I want that liner to be as defined as possible. Buff, buff, buff. Now what we're finna do is we're finna to put down an electric blue liner on top of that black liner that we laid down. So we're going to put the blue liner straight on top of the black liner, and we're going to bring it straight out. Just like that. The same way we did it on the left side, we're going to do the same steps over into the right side. Now, when you lay down another liner, different color liner, you want to be able to be close as possible to the first liner that you put down, if that makes sense. So you want both of the lines to be as defined as possible. Now we're just going in with some mascara, and we're just coating our lashes, preparing them to put our falsies on. So now we're just preparing our falsies to be customized to properly be placed onto the eyelash. So right now I'm just cutting and putting some glue on them. The waiting game is real. Now we're going to pop those on. And I typically like to put the middle on first and then attach the corners. So once the glue gets tacky, I tack it on from the center, and then I fix the two corners, if that makes sense. So then I adjust the ends of the corners of the eye and near the tear duct of the eye, making sure that the eyelash is secured. Well, there you have it. So right now we're going to begin our application process of our foundation and concealing. So right now I'm just preparing to lay down our foundation. If you see me talking in the background, I'm talking to my kids, so you will see a lot of lip interaction and head turning and eye rolling and all that stuff. So right now we're putting some Fenty Beauty on foundation. Like I said, all products and everything that I use in this video will be in the description box below. So I'm also using some Maybelline Fit Me Matte foundation, and I'm matching that along with the Fenty Beauty. Since the Fenty is a little bit darker, I'm using a lighter tone in the Maybelline Fit Me Matte foundation. So I'm just going to blend those two out all over. I typically like to use a sponge better than I like to use a brush, only because I feel as though the sponge allows my foundation to lay down evenly on my face, and I feel as though I have a lot of control in making sure that my foundation sits into the skin evenly. So what I'm doing is I'm just packing and laying out that foundation all over. Typically during the season of fall and winter, my skin typically likes to go more towards the oily side than more as of the dry side. So I like to use a matte foundation during the winter time and fall times. And I also like to use dewy, but just depends on the event and what look I'm trying to go for. I do dewy, but typically I always do matte foundations year round. So I'm just packing it onto the skin. Now I'm finna to get ready to go in with the concealer. And I'm going to put that concealer in down into my T-zone areas, down my nose, up under my eyes, ups, on my chin, and on my forehead. And we're just going to highlight those areas. Highlighting those areas allows you to be able to have the more attention, I like to say, attention and look towards the eyes and the face. So basically you just bringing those areas out. You letting the camera, you letting your face and everything else know that, hey, look at my brows, look at my eyes. We're here. Now I'm just popping a lighter shade concealer. And we're just going to blend that straight out. Oh yeah, honey, it's looking really good. Trust the process. It's coming together. And we're just going to blend that straight out. And you want to be able to blend so that you won't have anything uneven. Once we get everything blended out, now we fin to get ready to set our face. I like to set my face with the translucent powder. So I'm going to get ready to set the under eye. And our nose. So everything that we highlighted, we're going to set. This way, when we set the concealer down, it won't move nor crease. Now we're finna get ready to contour. We're going to get ready to contour those cheekbones. I typically, personally, don't like to do a harsh contour. I like to do a soft contour as possible, so that my face don't look too constricted, if that makes sense. So I like for my face to look like I guess a soft heart, a soft diamond. But I don't like the harsh look of contouring, but I like for my contour to definitely look like I have a snatch jawbone, period. So now we're finna get ready to wipe away all excess of that translucent powder, and we finna to get ready to add color back into the face since we took the color out. Now we finna get ready to add color into the face. Now we're finna get ready to contour our nose. We're finna snatch that nose, honey. This is my favorite part, snatching this nose. Now that you're contouring your nose, you want to be able to blend everything out, everything smoothly. So now I'm going to get ready to carve out my jawbone area, making sure that I have my cheekbones sitting up to where they need to be snatched at. So now I'm going in with a bronzer, and I'm going to bronze all over. I typically don't allow this setting powder once I set my contour. I don't allow myself to bake that long because I don't want the harsh look, nor do I want the flashback of me contouring out carving out the contour of my cheekbones to have like a flashback or a ashy look to it. So what I typically do is I get a bronzer and I just bronze all over. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just adding blush onto my jaws, well, on top of that contour. Now we are finna to get ready to highlight. Girl, stop playing with me with these cheeks, honey. Stop playing with me. So I typically like to put the highlight on my cheeks, my forehead, and my chin area. So I like to highlight my T-zone areas and also my nose. Now we're finna get ready to go with our Wet n Wild black liner and outline the bottom of our lids. And now I'm going to use the brush that I use for my transition color. I'm just using the excess color off the brush, and I'm just blending out the eyeliner that I applied at the bottom. So now I'm going in with my mascara and mascaring my lashes at the bottom.